What is up, everybody? Chris Flick here. Chris Flick Podcast, episode number 156. Why your kids are more anxious and depressed. We're going at a heavy topic today, and we're going to try to hit this from a few different angles. Number one, we're going to lay the groundwork. Then we're going to introduce some ideas, some concepts, some theories that affect kids' mental health from age 0 all the way up to present day. And then hopefully we're going to introduce a little bit of strategy, a few tools that you could do as a parent here to try to pull the, pump the brakes, so to speak, on this declining mental health situation that we have here, and encourage some more pro-social, some more fun into your child's life. Now, a few weeks ago, it's actually a few months now, at the emergency room, talking to a pediatric emergency room doctor, right? And he's like, you would not believe it. Our emergency room is filled with suicidal teens. New kids are coming in over and over again. You talk to these kids, normal conversation, right? You start asking these mental health type questions, and you just start checking the box, red flag, red flag, red flag. And it's scary and it's sad. And he's at this point where he's like, their whole ER is just filled with these kids and he doesn't know what to do, right? So it's like we almost have to get to the root of this. And when you want to get to the root of something, you have to start looking at the historical trends, we'll say, over the past few decades to get to the, hopefully to get to some insight on it. Peter Gray, psychology professor from Boston College. Since 1955, pro-social activities like free play have been continually declining. Now you think about play, you think about the joy that you might have had growing up. Some of the best memories I have are out, doing fun activities with friends. And you want to think about these fun activities. There's no real parents around, right? We're out playing street hockey. We had the nets out. Cars would come. We live on this small road, right? Cars come. Car! Everybody moves the nets off to the side. Kids clear. You wave to the car. Once they pass, you bring the nets back out. Play resumes, right? We're riding our bikes around, man. Street hockey, basketball down at the park. We're setting up sandlot football leagues. We're being active. We're out having fun. We're jumping. We're sprinting. Occasionally a fight breaks out, but guess what? You're a kid. You navigate this stuff, and you come back the next day and you're friends, right? Those are the benefits of play. You don't have parents always interjecting, all right? And when you get to that point where you don't always have a guardian, when kids are able to navigate situations on their own, guess what? They build confidence in those situations. They build a little bit of self-efficacy, and they realize that I have the power to control what happens to me, okay? I could step in. I could stand up for myself. I could speak out when I see something wrong. I could navigate this guy's not being a good teammate. All right, we could talk about this. If I'm not being a good teammate, maybe I'm not getting picked for the next basketball game. So I should fix my attitude. And if I don't fix my attitude and become a better teammate, then I'm not going to be on the court. If the goal is to get on the court, then I need to learn to play with others. That type of stuff. Those are the benefits of play. When you compare, 1981 to basically to 2000. Kids had less free time for play, right? 18% more time in school, 145% more time doing schoolwork, 168% more time shopping with parents, all right? Mothers in the same survey noted their children played outdoors less frequently and for shorter periods of time. These same mothers noted they restricted their own children's outdoor play because of safety concerns, right? Parents are more concerned about stuff in the world right now. Kids aren't walking home from the bus stop when they're in 3rd grade anymore. They're not walking down to the pool by themselves 7 blocks like I used to, all right? And hanging out with friends all day without a guardian there and then walk home. That stuff's just not happening anymore. And it's unfortunate. It's like one of those things where we think we're actually doing something good, the safety of our children, but we're actually doing more harm than good. And, that's going from 1955 into the 80s, into the 90s, into the 2000s. And since 1950 to 2005, kids that are less than 15 years old, the suicide rate's quadrupled. And in that kids age range 15 to 25, the rate's doubled. Keep in mind, these statistics are from 2011, all right? I don't know what the numbers are for the last decade. I guess I didn't do my due diligence there, but if I was to suspect, those trends were going to continue to go downward, all right? So, what do we have here? We have kind of a double whammy situation going here. We have less play. We have less play going on, and we have more emotionally stressful things going on. So the fun stuff, the stuff that builds self-esteem, self-efficacy, our ability to understand that I'm in control of my own fate, I'm in control of my own destiny, I can handle situations on my own, I don't always need a parent or an adult interjecting, right? That is going down. And then more emotionally stressful activities like school, like honor society, like club lacrosse, club soccer, gymnastics, getting assessed all the time, that goes up. So stressful situations go up, Anti-stress situations, play. When you look at the spectrum, play is literally probably the exact opposite of stress, all right? Play introduces stuff to us. It's almost like a proxy for the real world. You want to try risky things. You want to go out and explore new things, but you want to do it in the safest way possible. You want to get a little bit out of your comfort zone, all right? And the more you get a little bit out of your comfort zone, the more comfortable you are there. To the point that I'll use this bank as an example. Like when I was a teenager and I had to go into the bank, I was like, my heart rate would be pumping. I was like stressed out to go in and talk to a bank teller about like opening an account, depositing a check, whatever it may be. And I'm like, boy, why is this so frightful for me? And I think back on it, maybe if I was, almost forced to do stuff like that, not forced to talk, but like be introduced, being nudged to communicate with people, maybe I would have been better at it as a teen, right? You get a little bit frightened outside of your comfort zone at age 8, 9, 10, right? That by the time you're 11 and 12, those situations become a little bit more comfortable, right? It's like trying the monkey bars. At first, you're scared, but you might put your hands on it with your parents holding. And then, your parent might let go for a little bit and let you hang. Then your parent might help you get to the first bar. And then the parent might you know what I'm saying? Eventually the parent takes his hands away and the kid does it on his own, but it's baby steps. You try frightening things and eventually you're gonna make progress because you keep pushing yourself to do it, all right? When you don't have the opportunity to do stuff like that, that is where the anxiety comes in. And then I think the anxiety kind of leads to some depression in some situations, all right? Now, where was I here? Individuals suffering from anxiety disorders describe losing emotional control as one of their greatest fears. So just losing it, right? In an effort, instead of trying to overcome those emotions, they avoid those emotions. And then that problem starts to compound even more. Small degrees of fear provide the potential for the individuals to lose self-control. They don't want to be in a situation where they feel like they lose it. So they avoid it. And then by doing that, they don't make any progress. A few more things about play. Let's go with the play thing. Play is a source of happiness. Play is voluntary and kids can abandon the game at any time. Children learn to be aware of their playmates' needs and attempt to meet them. All right? That's another benefit here. I'm just going to run down a few notes here that I took that I didn't work into the previous discussion. Play helps children make friends and learn to get along with each other as equals. One last scary statistic here before we talk about reversing some of these trends. 5 to 8 times as many children and college students report clinically significant depression than 50 years ago. All right? I don't know how many times I have to repeat statistics like that, but what is going on right now is that our kids are in a bad spot mentally, and I think a lot of this stems from a lack of emotional development, and some of that lack of emotional development comes from our inability to do to allow kids to do pro-social activities and explore things on their own when they're young. Hear me out. Age 0 to 4, right? Parents, you're heavily involved in this. It's you and your kids for the most part. There's not a lot of outside social pressure. There's not a lot of outside social influences. So from age 0 to 4, it's your job to get your kid as socialized as possible, doing pro-social activities, right? And if you don't correct that by age 4, they're going to go to preschool, they're going to go to kindergarten, whenever they go there, and they're not going to have that strong foundation of being able to work with others, to communicate their emotions. And if they're not able to do that in a safe way, I mean, think about what a 2-year-old does when they want to act out their emotions. They might punch, kick, throw, scream, steal, take, whatever it may be. If you don't correct that at 2 and they're doing that behavior, they're acting out in that way at age 4 and 5, they're going to have a hard time working with others in school. And if they have a hard time working with others in preschool and kindergarten, then that trend might continue in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. So everything that we do from the moment that they're born needs to have this kind of end game in mind. It's like if we want to have a strong-minded kid who's not anxious in certain situations, who's not depressed in certain situations, everything we do in life matters. We need to get these kids comfortable in situations when they're young. We want to have rules for them. Obviously, this is not like a free-range situation. You want to have the least amount of rules possible to still get the maximum effective effectiveness, we'll say. The least, the minimum effective dose, right? You want to have just enough rules, but not too many. Too many rules, too many bad rules takes away from the good rules, right? You think about a tyranny, right? Too many bad rules. Even the good ones that are there, people just get sick of these tyrants telling them what they can and can't do, that they start to rebel. We do not want that, right? So you want to have enough rules, but not so many that they feel like they can't explore and be themselves, right? You want to let your child do things if they can do them. Even though it's going to take time, even though you might be 3 minutes late, if your kid wants to put his shoes on, let him put their shoes on, all right? I sometimes lose my patience, and I catch myself, I'm just throwing Emmy, here's your shoes, I'm going to put them on. I'm like, this girl's so independent. She's probably going to fight me on this thing. I'm just going to let her do it, all right? It's going to help her in the long run. She's not always going to have daddy doing stuff for her, all right? She needs to just do it, all right? Buttering her piece of toast, making her, what else does she like to do? I don't even know, man. But, you find these situations, if they could do it, let them do it. That's it. That's going to build confidence. It's going to build their self-efficacy. It's going to build self-esteem. And that's what you want out of your kids. I think it's almost like a cure when you think about, when you think about some of the things that lead to anxiety, when you think about some of the things that lead to depression, it's their inability to feel like anxiety and depression are a byproduct of a kid's lack of autonomy, I think, where they don't feel like they could actually do something on their own, that they always need help from the outside source, right? So we want to kind of negate that. We want to reverse that. We want to try to build it up early, let these kids do things. If they could do it, let them do it, all right? Let them play. Let them explore situations. Let them navigate situations on their own. My daughter's preschool teacher is awesome. She said, we have 4 marbles in our room. We have 12 kids, all right? So what does that mean? That there's going to be sharing. And she's like, I let them navigate it. Let the kids navigate certain situations. Obviously, you have rules. No punching, right? That's a big one for me. I don't want to see anybody hitting. I'll raise my voice and say, hey, if I see somebody hit somebody here, like my daughter and her friends, any violence, man, is out. Kids, human, like I said earlier, it's almost human nature to punch, kick, scream, right? Because that's what 1 and 2-year-olds do. So we have to correct that human nature and let them know, hey, we're not going to be violent here. All right? We're not going to hit. Ever. Well, you know what I'm saying. Self-defense, maybe you have to, right? As long as it's not a self-defense situation, I don't want anybody hitting. Those are rules that I like. Anyhow, man. So where are we at here? Kids are more anxious and depressed than ever. Suicide rates are going up. We need to... cognitive behavior therapy, right? It has that idea behind it where if you're scared of something, you need to get little micro exposure to what scares you, and then over time that exposure gets a little bit bigger and bigger. So if you're scared of a tarantula, you put the tarantula 50 feet away from you and you sit in the room with it. Cool. Next time it's at 40 feet. Next time it's at 30 feet. Next time it's at 20 feet. Then it's 15 feet. Then it's 10 feet. Then it's 5 feet, and then you pick up the jar that the tarantula's in. Obviously, this could take years, that kind of treatment, right? But it's that kind of idea. Let them explore. Let them get themselves into a little bit of tricky situations, but let them navigate it there. Let them navigate it. You don't want them to get hurt. Let them push to that threshold, all right? And then hopefully they learn where their limits are, right? That's the only way they're going to learn to their limits are is when they get to explore some things on their own. I think my random thoughts on this topic have officially come to an end, all right? Pro-social behavior, if you want your kids, to be strong-willed, strong-minded, 10, 12, 14-year-olds, it starts early. Everything that we do matters. If you're a parent, you need to accept that responsibility at a young age. Your kid is a reflection of you, and you need to do, hopefully think about this stuff, hopefully talk about this stuff with others, and then make the right decisions. All right, you're always going to make mistakes. We all do. I do every day of my life, right? But our goal is to make the least amount of mistakes possible, try to create, the best child that we can create so that this world could be a better place and that your kid could be happy, just to be a happy kid, period. Chris Flick Podcast. It's available everywhere, man. Apple, Google, Stitcher, all those spots. It's on YouTube. Like this, like and subscribe to this stuff, please. We're trying to get my YouTube stuff up. Go to chrisflick.net. You could enter your email address. You could get my weekly newsletter where I tackle topics like this. I give a fitness tip of the week and all this other stuff, right? We're out there, man. Like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do to help. It's greatly appreciated. Peace, everybody.